Hey now, what's going on, guys? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and this is it. This is the end of the beginning of the end, or however that song is supposed to go. Obviously, I am here to review the very last of the Harry Potter movies, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. This is a 2011 film that was obviously directed by David Yates and obviously based on the novel with the same name written by J.K. Rowling. Now, the plot is the same plot from Part 1. It's all one long continuous movie story. The difference here is that instead of the setup, instead of the character stuff, instead of everything building up to the war, this movie is the war. In fact, this whole movie is pretty much filled with the battle, the war between Harry Potter and the school and Lord Voldemort and his dark army. Now, what I thought of this final installment was this movie was amazing. Talk about ending the series on a high note. What can I say about this last part? I'm going to feel like I'm gonna spoil it galore, and I don't mean to, but how else do you start talking about this? First, I want to talk about Ralph Fiennes as Lord Voldemort, because I'm sure that because of how less often they used him throughout the whole series. I mean, I know he had a lot to do with the plots and the stories and a lot of different incarnations of Voldemort or Tom Riddle, but when you really think about how many times you saw Voldemort in his true form with Ralph Fiennes playing him in makeup, it wasn't a whole lot. They did a good job, a great job actually, of building up this villain, as the main foe to Harry Potter, as his biggest enemy, but keeping him enough in the background to where you never got sick of him, or you never felt like you were seeing too much of him to where the threat was gone. And he was all powerful. And Ralph Fiennes did an amazing job playing this character, just somebody that you were afraid of. I mean, there's scenes where what he's doing to some of these characters with his snake and his magic, and how he just does not care at all about killing tons of people, just no soul behind it. That's a villain that you can definitely get behind as far as wanting to see go down. The middle of this movie, towards the end, that's where you see what I call death everywhere. Characters are dying left and right when the battle happens and the army storms in there, and there's one scene where Harry Potter, Hermione, and Ron are running through, and they look over and they see all of these characters that we've been watching from the last 3, 4, 5 movies, if not more, and they're dead. Just characters laying on the ground, and you're just like, fuck, I mean, I saw some reviews of people talking about this and how they said that they didn't like that because it felt like it didn't take those deaths seriously or didn't deal enough with it. I understand that point, that criticism, but I kind of liked it in the sense that it just showed how dangerous this was and how much chaos was going on, to where you're in the main character's point of view, to where you're running on, and it's fighting and craziness, and you look over and you happen to see somebody that you know dead out of nowhere. You didn't see how they died or what happened, you see the aftermath, and that, I think, brought a lot of weight to what was going on. I want to talk about Hermione and Ron really quick. Hermione, I really have enjoyed Emma Watson as Hermione. She's a character that, even though she's the girl of the group, she holds her own. She's the smartest one out of all of them, and I thought she had some nice, capable moments. Throughout the whole series, really, but especially in this one. She's grown to be a beautiful girl. I mean, I don't know if that's weird for me to say that here's a girl who we saw her in as a little kid, up till now a grown woman. Either way, I'm going to say it, though. She's beautiful. Ron, I like Ron. I've said before that Ron was one of my favorite characters in this series, but I think in this last film, they wasted him a little bit. He's sort of just there. There's a couple of moments, especially towards the end, where I thought they could have had him be a little bit more of a badass or step up a little bit so that he could have his time to shine, his moment. I know he had a pretty awesome moment in part 1, so maybe that's why they didn't really do a lot with him here. But still, I wish we could have saw that. Alan Rickman as Snape. I said before how much I like Alan Rickman as an actor. I said before how this character has been so back and forth. At first we thought he was bad, then he was good, then he went bad again. In this movie, man, do you understand the character a hell of a lot more than you ever had before. And I'm not saying that the feelings I had about him previous wasn't justified. Clearly we're supposed to think of him the way that we think at the time, but now he is a much more tragic character. You do feel a lot more bad for him, and you almost don't know what to make of the mythology or the backstory or Harry Potter's parents and that relationship after learning this stuff. But at least they cleared it up. At least it made more sense. At least I understood him more. And at the very end of the movie, it's what everybody's been waiting for, and the build-up has been Harry Potter versus Lord Voldemort, one-on-one in a pretty big battle. I love seeing good versus evil. I love seeing like the clear-cut good versus evil, and just seeing good prevail. There's just something about taking evil, taking somebody who's done these awful atrocities, and just saying fuck you. And beating them. I can't help but love an ending like that. Also, the 19 years later thing completely surprised me. I was not expecting something like that. You could say that it was weird, but I liked it. It's certainly a lot happier of an ending than you would want. You get to see where a lot of the characters leave off and what's happened with them and who they've ended up with and who they had kids with. And then you see the next generation of kids who are going to the school and being wizards. It's a great ending. It's a great series, really. You could tell that they planned this out well. This has to be one of the biggest undertakings a company could have done. To take these 7 books and make 8 movies out of them in 10 years. That's something that I think doesn't get talked about by how impressive that was. How we've had most, if not all, of the same actors throughout the whole thing, especially our main characters. This was an undertaking. And I haven't read the books, but I'd love to hear from people who have read the books and then watch these movies to see if they were pleased with it, the accuracy, and how much they stayed true and faithful. Either way, though, I'm impressed. I've watched this whole series now. Finally! For somebody who didn't think he would have liked the Harry Potter movies, for somebody who thought that this just wasn't going to be for me, or I was just going to watch it without really caring, I'm surprised, pleasantly surprised by how great this series has been. So guys, let me know in the comments below, not only what did you think of this final installment, part 2 of the Deathly Hallows, but this whole series overall. What do you think? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.